The following video contains spoilers. We suggest watching the episodes alone in the dark. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Wolfpack! Yahinga-hinga-hurgan! Well, it's another March here at Wolf Entertainment, so you know what that means. Another review on a supernatural fantasy adventure from a beloved horror TV series. Yay! This time, the Twilight Zone gets another holiday to shine in the spotlight, since they created a horrendous, wacky comedy episode featuring a stupid leprechaun and some bad luck in it. Oh, frabjous day, another stupid leprechaun journey with bad luck and magic wishes. And this time, it's played for stupid comedy. How lucky for us! You see, the 80s Twilight Zone reboot wanted to experiment with some goofy, totally out there concepts in order to find its footing on television, which tragically resulted in many attempts at wacky comedy tales. I'll say it now, this series, along with many other horror anthology shows, were absolutely dreadful at comedy stories. Many of them flat out sucked hard. They were all usually poorly handled, absurd, or dark comedies with the lamest jokes ever imaginable, and had approximately zero impact on the audience. Be they older fans or casual viewers just looking for something fun to watch. The 80s Twilight Zone, and even the original classic Twilight Zone, were awful at telling humorous tales of suspense. Since their flavors of comedy were typically very corny, outdated, lazy, way too easy, and worst of all, cringe-inducingly painful. The only Twilight Zone series that did have at least some decent comedy plots was the infamous 2000s Twilight Zone, since there was a genuine effort to them. Let that sink in, folks. The 2000s Twilight Zone was the only Twilight Zone series that was slightly good at wacky comedy adventures. It is that low of a bar. Oh, this is going to suck. But as long as you people aren't requesting me to review those crappy Leprechaun movies, then I think I'll be fine. For now. But in short, this episode in particular is considered to be the absolute worst episode of the 80s Twilight Zone. Yes, this tale of goofy suspense was rated as the worst of all this reboot's episodes, which was out of all 65. In fact, it's often cited as the worst Twilight Zone tale ever, even compared to the 2000s one. The main characters are extremely despised. The supernatural character is debatably a racist stereotype of Irishmen, the comedy is cringe, and the plot is every cliché Three Wishes story we've ever heard of. Definitely not a good starting sign.
Yes, it's almost as if it's empowered by solid, pure rage!
Pinky Dye, what are you doing here?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just here to do some research on if this episode is so bad that it can drive a mind insane.
Well, you're about to get enough details to fill up a book, my dear. Not enough booze in the world is going to take away the pain. But let's stop wasting time and take a ride over the rainbow. Grab all your nearest liquor, folks, because you're going to want to forget this nightmare as soon as possible. This is our St. Patrick's Day holiday horror special, The Leprechaun-Artist. Hey, wait a minute. LepreCONN-Artist! I get it now! Roll the damn film. So, our wacky comedy torture opens up with a boy riding his bike to his friend's house, all while a stupid soundtrack plays out. Wow, I'm so glad the terrifying horror classic The Twilight Zone opened up on such a hilarious soundtrack, really showing off how great this grim franchise was. Could you imagine if other horror franchises used such amazing opening music? Through this kids just having fun montage, we meet our three main characters. Yes, three main characters. A trio of stupid immature brats named Buddy, Richie, and JP. Guess which one was named JP?
That's racist.
All three of our main characters have absolutely no personality of their own to distinguish themselves apart from one another, other than their physical appearances. No, wait, I take that back. All of them have the exact same personality. All three of the idiots here are the simple, bratty, ditzy, troublemaking preteens who don't know any better and just love to have shallow fun without thinking things through because they're morons. I cannot tell you one unique individual quality about any of them to differentiate them. They're all essentially flat characters who act as quote-unquote the normal kids, which only makes them boring beyond all belief. In short, they're all just blank slates for the kid viewers to project themselves onto, but unlike Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark, and The Haunting Hour, they have nothing to make them stand out on their own, nor do they do anything interesting at all. Our main characters are essentially blank cutouts with nothing to offer us, but all the major scenes they do get during this episode will only make you hate them more and more as the story continues on. They have nothing for most of this, and all of their relevant plot-driving moments only result in making the audience hate them because they are so unlikable. Like in this opening, where the troublemaking dolts whine, cry, and ditch their chores and those uncool parents in order to go hang out in their magic treehouse and check out their Playboy magazines. If only this was the real magic treehouse, so we could wish to go into them. Ordinarily, I'd give you guys some details over the actors right about now, but only one of them had a role in something I'm familiar with. The kid who plays Richie, the wannabe poser kid, actually played the puppeteer kid Philip from Nightmare on Elm Street 3. You know, that guy who loved carving out puppets and got controlled by Freddy Krueger in his nightmares. Gee, whatever happened to that kid? Oh right, he died. Man, I wish Freddy Krueger would show up here to kill all these kids right about now, but we're in for a different type of pain. While the Three Stooges screw around, we then listen to the off-screen narrator attempting to overhype this episode for us.
Consider for a moment, if you were a leprechaun, making your home under the roots of trees or in hollows between rocks. When you want to get away from it all, now and then. A winter in Pismo Beach, a summer trip to Disneyland, where no one would even notice you. But if you really were a leprechaun, where else would you vacation but in the Twilight Zone?
That sounds stupid. I'm sorry, but this was easily the worst opening narration this reboot ever had. Why would a leprechaun want to vacation in the Twilight Zone? That's like Wolf going on a vacation at the hunting lodge. It sounds dumb. And more importantly, who would use a magic wish that could bend the laws of reality to go to Disneyland? Out of all the impossible magical things you could do with a magic wish, the narrator actually says that you do something so lame like using it for one free day at Disneyland. Where's the creativity?
Lame.
Needless to say, this narration does not get you invested in this plotline. The Three Stooges begin to fight over their porno stash until suddenly they hear a leprechaun singing outside. Yep, just like that. The leprechaun stumbles upon their man cave out of sheer random. What, did you expect the kids to be interested in the supernatural beliefs or have books on mythical creatures like on one of R.L. Stine's classics? Of course that would never happen on here. Did you expect this Twilight Zone reboot to give a comedy effort? Heck no. Good comedy takes talent. Also, why the hell is the leprechaun singing aloud while hitchhiking through the forest? I thought leprechauns were supposed to be clever tricksters who kept their existence a secret. We learned about that in kindergarten, for Pete's sake. But apparently, neither the writers nor these kids know that, since our main characters actually take a good long minute to realize that this little singing green man with an Irish accent is actually a leprechaun. You know, you're making it really hard for us to sympathize with these brain-dead morons, TV show. But uh-oh, the leprechaun spots the idiot spying on him and immediately runs off, where we then get a wacky Scooby-Doo chase scene of the Three Stooges hunting him down for fun. All while the story plays a discount Shawshank Redemption Irish jingle. Alright, what is up with these horror shows and their bizarre music choices? They're just strange. So, in the end of our wacky Scooby-Doo chase, the heroes soon beat up and kidnap the poor leprechaun, dragging him off to be imprisoned in their clubhouse. Wait, what? Hey, Twilight Zone, are we supposed to like these guys? Because right now, they're making it really difficult to connect with them. These guys are the villains. I mean, did anybody working on this episode read this out loud? Our heroes gang up on and abduct a helpless little person? That's some straight-up psycho behavior right there. It's like if we were meant to root for the gang of homophobes from the It Chapter 2 movie, or one of Melody Fox's idiot bullies. WTF, Twilight Zone. So, our heroes drag the leprechaun back to their treehouse of solitude, force him to stay trapped, and question him. The leprechaun then proceeds to act super stereotypical for a few seconds, spouting stuff like, "Ooh, hidey-didey-do, don't you," and yammering on like he was a drunk nutjob, before eventually telling the boys that, yep, he is indeed a magical leprechaun named Sean McGool. Yes, seriously. And he will grant them 3 wishes if they let him go. And at long last, we get to the average, overly done 3 wishes that will obviously backfire plotline. Yeah, we've seen it all before. The boys will make some stupid wishes for something cool to happen, but because they improperly phrase their desires, it will ironically backfire and lead to some horrible consequences.
Feels like one of those fairy tales where the genie gives you a wish, but you ask for it in slightly the wrong way and you end up with a solid gold head or something.
I know I have a tendency to harshly scream at these trite by-the-numbers cliches, but trust me when I say that the Three Wishes story arc here is not the worst part of it all. No, the worst part is that this episode does absolutely nothing new with the Three Magic Wishes story arc at all. It is every Three Wishes plot we have ever seen before, with little to nothing added to make it original or unique whatsoever. It's not like R.L. Stine's kid horror stories, or Tales from the Dark Side, or Are You Afraid of the Dark, where the Magic Wishes plot had an effort, or at least a new spin on the overdone narrative, but rather the most generic version of the Three Wishes plotline you could possibly imagine. I mean no exaggeration when I say that nothing new is featured in this precise Three Wishes episode to make it separate from all the other ironic Magic Wishes stories you've seen in the past. All the wishes made have zero creativity to them. The effects don't make them seem all that incredible, and it leads to the exact karma you're thinking of the moment you hear the boys vaguely state their magic wish. They make a wish, but don't word it properly, then the irony comes in, and you totally see it coming, or it has little imagination to it once it blows up in everyone's faces. Where's the nuance? Where's the fun? Where are all the new ideas?
Lame.
Yeah, not going to lie. This is the most bare-bones Three Wishes plot ever done before. They don't go into any dark places like most Magic Wish narratives do. And the goofy comedy kind of takes away from the impact they should have on us and on the protagonists. And the fact that the Twilight Zone, the greatest horror franchise of all time, refuses to take a risk with this concept only infuriates me even more. Our favorite horror series is going to take the safe, predictable way out this time, which disappoints me on every level it could. How disappointing. But back in the plot, each of the Three Stooges gets one magic wish for whatever their heart desires. But just to waste your time, the kids have to think about what they want to wish for, and it actually takes them hours to ponder over it. Hours! But hey, at least Shaun the Leprechaun is acting out the audience's reaction to this story. Okay, that was pretty humorous. After 8 weeks, Buddy the nerdy kid finally makes his wish. He wishes for X-ray vision, so he can check out naked girls on the streets, which the leprechaun grants him. Tomorrow. Yeah. Evidently the leprechaun is feeling lazy today, so he gives them all their magic wishes the next day, just to pad this episode out even longer.
Good! Use your aggression, kitten! Let the hate flow through you!
However, the other two guys just can't decide what they want to wish for yet, forcing the Magic Man to stay with them even longer and suffer some more. I feel his pain. Despite my hatred for this plot, there is one saving grace in this whole narrative. The best part is the cynical, jaded leprechaun acting like a dick towards the kids who are keeping him hostage. It is, in all honesty, the funniest part of this whole tale, and it might be the only reason to keep watching this at all, since the actor is just so hilarious in this role. I legitimately love this guy tossing out some sick burns towards these brats. He is so funny, and you totally feel for him.
What are you gonna do with him? Huh? Go home with him.
It's true I'm obliged to stay until after your wishes are granted, but that doesn't mean I have to go to your miserable hovel and hear all about your domestic problems and look at your awful television programs. Oh, you little cretins.
My kind of guy. The boys worry if the leprechaun might escape them and run off while they're gone, but the magic man informs them that he can't do that because he's oddly contractually obligated by some magical rules to stay here until he can give them all the 3 wishes he promised. Yeah, evidently there's some weird magic rules at play that prevent him from breaking his vow of 3 wishes, which is, of course, never explained. Even the plot never elaborates on this. It's just so weird.
Well, how do we know you won't run away?
'Cause it's against the rules, Sonny. I can't run away.
What rules? What are you talking about? Is there a council of fairy elders? What's keeping you here other than the plot? No answer then? Okay, he's from Fairy World. So, the leprechaun is forced to live in their crappy treehouse because the plot demands that he stays. Doo-hoo-hoo-hoo! We cut to the next day, where Buddy's X-ray vision wish at last comes true. He has sight beyond sight, which he uses to perv on hot chicks. What a noble hero. But, you guessed it, his magic wish naturally craps out on him, and he sees a little too well. Buddy then gets horrified when he sees people's skeletal systems and organs, rather than the parts he wants to see. He loses control of his powers and soon passes out.
Pretty weenie!
We then cut to a few hours later at the Magic Treehouse, where Buddy is recovering. And here's where we get to another colossal issue with the story. We learn that the wishes actually have a limited use, and Sean McGool the Leprechaun can easily reverse them anytime the heroes want him to. That's right, these magic, ironic, twisted wishes can quickly be undone at any time thanks to the Leprechaun having an instant reset button, thereby removing all stakes and tension in the whole episode. Why, Twilight Zone? Just why? You actually have a safety net in this magic backfiring wishes plot. Who does that? Word of advice to all writers out there: never, ever have an instant safety net preventing all sense of a conflict in your writing. How are we, the audience, supposed to get invested in or feel any sense of danger for the main characters when you have an easy out for all problems in the story? The Leprechaun reveals in this ironic twist of fate plot that he can stop their dark wish like an on-off switch, which just removes any conflict entirely. That's terrible writing. It's the equivalent of making a new Pac-Man video game, but removing all the ghosts from the setting, which leads you into a dull, uninteresting, easy, uncreative experience with no tension or shocking curves whatsoever. Why would you ever make an adventure where there's no problems in it at all? That's boring! Having the solution available instantly prevents the characters from encountering any threat in a fantasy, and saying, well, it's just a dumb comedy is not an excuse. Even the worst of all comedies need to have a plot where something is at stake. Bad Haunting Hour episodes even understood that you do need to have a problem that needs resolving. But this Twilight Zone misadventure doesn't get that. We, honest to you all, have a Twilight Zone story where nothing is at risk. The main characters have a safety shield protecting them. The supernatural character has a reset button on the go that can save everyone from any bad situation, and the plot has no message in the end as a result. How can you make a story interesting if there's no real issue or nothing to say? These ironic magic wishes stories always demand a problem in the plot to have a plot overall. How are these characters supposed to overcome their obstacles or learn from the nightmare? What about the consequences?
Consequences, as long as I'm rich.
So yeah, there is zero tension in this episode at all, which only makes it worse because it makes us ask, why the hell should we care? A horrible sign to have in any story, even outside of our horror tales. Something that makes it kind of weaker is that even the leprechaun points out that he has no ill will towards the kids either, because he outright admits that he's not the one twisting the words of their magic wishes. Yep, he's not doing anything evil at all, meaning that there is also no antagonist in this either. It's just our main characters being stupid. Now, you would think that this would mean the Three Stooges here have to learn from their mistakes and grow up as mature people, but nope, the episode doesn't do that. If you are hoping for any character development in this, well, save your breath. On the plus side, at least we get some good jokes of the leprechaun being a savage dick towards these morons some more, which is still the highlight of this fail bomb.
I am the cause of your wishes. I've nothing whatever to do with their effect, though I'm glad this lad got his comeuppance. Little deviant.
I swear, this guy is my spirit animal. I can so relate to him.
Wait, that makes no sense. You're a cat and he's a human. How is he your spirit animal?
I don't know. So, the leprechaun wants them to make their final 2 wishes, so he can mercifully get this plot over with. But the Three Stooges still take their sweet-ass time thinking about what to wish for, and continue to hold the poor old guy hostage some more. Ugh, I hate all of you. The fact that the leprechaun was going on vacation before this happened only makes things worse, since the boys are deliberately wasting his free time. You kids suck. Fortunately, the token black guy JP makes his wish now. He wishes that all of their parents have to do exactly whatever they tell them to do, which Leprechaun Sean grants. He also inquires them about their final wish, but the last idiot still has to think about it.
I'm still sleeping on it.
Okay, in spite of all the crap we've been sitting through, that reaction from the leprechaun was totally worth it. You know, I think I might make that reaction a meme on our channel now, since it accurately fits every stupid moment in a horror story ever. We cut to the next day, where the wish comes true. The parents have to do everything their children say. The kids control their moms and dads, where they demand that they do whatever they want, which includes giving them money, driving them everywhere, no homework, giving them only what foods they choose to eat, and act stupid for their own personal amusement. Once again, you have to admire the nobility of our kind-hearted heroes on display here. I guess seeing the parents under total control of their children is meant to be funny, but it's all kind of lame, and a tad lazy to be honest. This comedy episode aims pretty low on the humor targets, resulting in some very cheap comedy that's just so corny and pathetic. Seriously, the episode acts like these moments are laugh out loud rolling on the floor hilarious, but they hardly even gain a light chuckle.
Tell him to do something. Dad, bark like a dog. Mom, sing the Star Spangled Banner. Oh, say, can you see light on through the night?
What the hell is this? For crying out loud, somebody throw a pie!
Really, Twilight Zone? You call these jokes? I wouldn't even waste these bits on Sesame Street. The 2000s Twilight Zone is funnier than you. Naturally, the magic wish backfires. The boys learn that when JP wished for their parents to do exactly everything they said, it meant that the adults literally have to do whatever the boys say in order to do anything on their own in life. The parents are brain-dead shells who can't do anything without the kids telling them how to do it. They need orders from their kids 24/7 to perform everything in their life just to live, fully dependent on the Three Stooges giving the word. It's kind of funny at first, but then the episode has to ruin it by giving an overly long, dull scene, grounding the joke into dust.
The pizza, Mom, it's in the freezer. Get it out. Okay, put it in the oven. No, you gotta take it out of the box. Upside down. Turn it over. Turn on the oven. Not all the way. All right, keep the oven going.
Good lord, it was almost funny, but then the show had to drag it out forever, to the point of killing the comedy bit. Nice going, you dolts.
Yes, it is pretty upsetting, isn't it? Doesn't it make you want to burn it all down? Make your enemy here suffer?
Yeah, it almost does. Almost, but I can make it. I can get through this.
Oh, of course you can. Keep traveling on, little kitten. You're almost there.
Right. We then cut to the kids in the treehouse acting like massive pricks towards the leprechaun for screwing up their magic wish. Even though he said earlier to their faces that he has no effect on the wishes backfiring. Yet they still blame him anyway. These kids are being dicks to him for no reason. Why are we supposed to like these brats? They are horrible. They pounded on and abducted a little person, mouth off to their parents, avoid their responsibilities, perv on girls, enslaved their parents, and are all around obnoxious brats. Are we supposed to hate them? You know, writers, there's only so much the boys will be boys excuse can defend until the boys evolve into straight up unsympathetic butt wipes. But then, we get this dumb dialogue.
Think you're pretty smart, don't you? I know I'm smart. That's better than thinking.
What?
I know I'm smart. That's better than thinking. I know I'm smart. That's better than thinking. I know I'm smart. That's better than thinking.
I know I'm smart. That's better than thinking.
What the heck does that mean? Smart people don't think? Huh? I don't get it. What is he trying to say?
The world may never know.
Once again, the leprechaun reverses the terrible wish, reminding us that there is zero suspense in this tale of suspense, and he demands that they make the final wish. After another 2,000 years of thinking about it, the boys make their final wish. They wish for a hot, fancy new sports car with a personal driver who must chauffeur them. The magic man grants the wish and gladly leaves forever. Oh, thank goodness. The one character who I actually liked at least got his well-deserved happy ending. So now, I can't say that it's a 0 out of 10 score. But don't get too comfortable. Anyways, the boys get their sweet ride and personal butler for the day, where our heroes then drive around town to show off how great their lives are and act like massive douches.
That's just fine. Somebody,
Who the heck were those guys?
But oh no, the irony kicks in. Their wish backfires on them again when the police chase them down, revealing that their new car was stolen, and the police arrest them under the assumption that they jacked the car. Huh? Wait, what about the personal driver? They saw an older guy driving the car and giving them a chase, while the Three Stooges were in the back seat. How the heck do the police assume that it was the kids looting the car and taking it for a joyride when they were nowhere near the wheel?
Black guy.
So yes, that was the twist of their final magic wish. They got caught in a stolen car, the police arrest them, and they get dragged off to the Hooskow. So, happy ending! Alright, it sadly doesn't end there. But what we got instead will piss you all right the heck off. The boys are getting interrogated in jail, but once they enter their darkest hour, we reach our twist ending. Get this. The leprechaun magically shows up invisible to all the cops, and out of freaking nowhere, he turns good now. Yep, he becomes a good guy when he declares that he likes the boys now and wants to aid them. Yes, seriously, he likes the kids now, and he reverses their final wish, which removes everyone's memories except for their own, setting them free from police custody. Yes, that all really happens. The leprechaun randomly turns good, shows up to save the jerks who kidnapped him, tells them that he likes them all now, and reverses their magic wish to get them out of trouble, thus allowing the boys to get away with everything completely scot-free. There is no transition into this whatsoever. This comes out of nowhere. First, the leprechaun hates them. He spends 99% of this story being a massive dick towards them, and then just like that, the leprechaun loves the kids now. He sets them free, declaring that he considers them best friends, and he respects them in spite of showing no signs of liking these idiots at all. What a crock of bull! This makes no sense. He helps his kidnappers and tells them that he likes them after they spent all of their scenes being dicks to one another.
You get your wish. It's on me. Gentlemen, take care of yourselves. I like the looks of you. Go home with that. It's true I'm obliged to stay until after your wishes are granted, but that doesn't mean I have to go to your miserable hovel and hear all about your domestic problems and look at your awful television programs. Oh, you little cretins. I like the looks of you.
I'm still sleeping on it.
like the looks of you.
Great continuity.
Yes, just like that, he's just good now.
You always win when you are good.
Yeah, this ending is pure garbage. Why does he like the kids all of a sudden? They've done nothing to earn each other's respect or trust, let alone had no depth as characters. It doesn't add up. Was this the Leprechaun's character arc? Was he supposed to be this depressing jerk who learned how to be nice thanks to these idiot kids changing his world? If so, then this character arc sucks. There was no hint, no change, no foreshadowing, and not even a small scene showing that the leprechaun was growing attached to these people. This is a complete ass-pull. What the heck were these writers smoking? So the leprechaun retcons everything that happened in this episode, and the Three Stooges get away with being pricks, play innocent with the cops, and run off into the world totally consequence-free.
Well, we gotta go now.
Fine job.
Bye. Wow. That was shit.
And that was the awful, awful conclusion to the most hated 80s Twilight Zone tale, The Leprechaun-Artist.
How does it make you feel, Cat? Doesn't it just burn you up with rage? Doesn't it make you want to torch everything in sight? Isn't it the worst possible thing you've ever seen in your whole life?
Actually, no.
Say what?
Oh, don't get me wrong. This episode sucks. It really sucks. However, it's surprisingly not the worst thing I have ever sat through. I stand by Bad Egg, Poop de Fromage, Spores, the Maple Street remake, and My Robot being the absolute worst dumpster fires I ever experienced. But this is not at that same level of crap. The Leprechaun-Artist is horrendous, but it's not offensively bad. It's just lame. The Leprechaun-Artist is a lame episode with lame comedy, lame cliches, lame characters, and a severely lame narrative. It does not piss me off as much as it did for other people, like for old school Twilight Zone fans. But I do agree that it is pretty terrible overall. The three main characters are total unlikable blank slates who nobody can relate with. The comedy is corny and piss poor. The plot is generic and littered with tons of cliches we've seen before. The effects are cheap. The fun moments are not that riveting. The magic feels fake. It leaves no impact on you once it's all over. And worst of all is the ending, including the leprechaun's character arc. The boys spend so much time being whiny, immature, and bratty, then learn nothing in the end. They don't become better people, they don't learn a lesson, they don't learn from their mistakes, they don't change, they just get away with everything and go on about their daily lives like nothing happened. And just to make it all the more insulting, they try to give the conclusion this sweet, heartwarming moment where the leprechaun changes into a good guy who loves the kids now and saves their bacon like they're all cool now. This is not earned. The leprechaun has a terrible character arc because it comes out of nowhere. There's no lead-in for his friendship with the kids who tormented him and who he treated like dirt as well. He just goes from hating them to loving them in a snap. Even on an intentionally stupid comedy, this is a horrible story direction because of how badly executed it is. They try to insert some touching emotion at the end, but it was not deserved in the slightest. It's awful, but it does not quite piss me off. Mainly because this is the most generic Three Wishes plotline you will ever see. The dumb ending felt tacked on simply to make it stand out and not feel like it was soulless, but ultimately it was. They want to imply some grand moral was learned from all this, but there never was one. What were we supposed to learn from this?
Perhaps there is no moral to this story.
Exactly! Just a bunch of stuff that happened.
In short, this episode is terrible. It might be the worst Twilight Zone tale from this reboot, but it's honestly not bad enough to get stressed over, especially compared to the franchise's other failures. It's just a lame, unimpressive, dull journey that is simply forgettable. And being forgotten is the worst fate for any story to fall under. So, I give this lame leprechaun love letter a decayed skull. It's not the most awful thing made, but it does indeed fail as a fun story overall. I think what I hate the most is how flavorless it is. It's every generic Magic Wishes narrative with nothing new to introduce to the new viewers. The comedy is lousy, the main characters are so one-dimensional, the Leprechaun's character arc was the biggest joke of this wacky mishap, the magic is phony, the plot is cliched and poorly structured, there's no dread, and worst of all, is its lack of imagination. I do not recommend this episode, because it is not worth sitting through 20 minutes of generic boredom. The only highlight of the story is the leprechaun being a hilarious dick towards children. But even he couldn't save this episode because he was supposed to go through some deep character arc that was more shallow than a dang puddle. Even he was ruined in the final few seconds. The Leprechaun-Artist wanted to be some old-fashioned wacky hijinks, but in the end,
Just a bunch of stuff that happened.
precisely. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or just tune in for more videos posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and in the words of the Critical Drinker, that's all I have for today. Go away now.
Kitten's Log, Stardate St. Patty's Day. It seems my little test with the new kitty cat tragically ended in total failure. I can't seem to trigger his anger levels to the standards I require quite yet. I may need something a bit stronger to get the new cat to rage. But what can I possibly use to upset him to Nega-Wolf power? What do you think, Gummy? That's it! Gummy, you're a genius! The only way to get the cat to grow his superpowers is if I take him back to where it all began. Get the tea kettle brewing, Gummy. It's going to be a magical adventure.